Welcome to the design guide for the new mobile slider template. We'll start by doing a quick preview, and you'll notice for all the mobile units, they preview inside a more mobile-sized window to give you a better idea of what this is going to look like on a mobile device. But as always, the best way to actually see it is going to be to copy and paste this URL into an email to yourself, open it up on a smartphone, and you'll get an actual view of the functionality. But for here, you can click and swipe and see that this ad goes from a header or footer image, just like the mobile adhesion banner that overlays on top of content, only in this case the user can now swipe the ad to the left to reveal a full screen image, and this has a separate image for both landscape. It'll flop to landscape if you adjust the window to a landscape dimensions, and then back to portrait when you're in portrait dimensions. So to build this ad, media, you have 4 different images that you're going to upload. Basically a portrait view header or footer, a portrait view expanded container image, a landscape view footer, and a landscape image expanded media image. Now, instead of giving you size adjustable options, we made your life simple for these units and basically gave you fixed dimensions. So in this case, the portrait footer is going to be 640 by 100 pixels. Now remember, this is for retina sizing, meaning when the ad actually appears on a phone, it's going to be shrunk in half. Basically gives you higher resolution. So the end image is going to be 320 by 50 on the phone itself, but when you're designing the image, you're going to upload it and create it at 640 by 100. That applies to all the images here. The portrait expanded container is going to be 500 by 700 pixels, again reducing down to 250 by 350 and adjusting to the actual dimensions of whatever device it's going to be viewed on. We use what's called a cover effect, meaning you're just going to upload one image and it's going to slightly stretch or narrow itself depending on the device, because obviously not every mobile device has the exact same dimensions or size screen. So again, you're just going to upload one expanded image and it's going to expand or contract and fit your window perfectly. Likewise, so the landscape view footer 960 by 100 and the landscape expanded container media the opposite dimensions, 700 by 500 instead of 500 by 700. Now, what we recommend you do is when you're first building this ad, come over here to the mobile slider where you're going to watch the design guide. Underneath there's going to be a button where you can download the Photoshop design templates for both that landscape and portrait mode. And what those are going to look like are this. So here's the portrait. It's going to give you 3 different sections here. It's going to give you a blank layer, an overlay layer, and the text. And what this allows you to do is basically grab, in essence, this overlay and start building your ad, again 700 by 500 or 500 by 700 in this case, and then you'll be able to see exactly where your margin is, your bleed, and where you're going to want to put most of your content. As a quick example here, here's an image we created for the portrait, and we have the overlay layer on top. So when I turn that on, I can see that the main content is encapsulated within this bleed. It's basically 100 pixels at the top or the bottom, 50 pixels on the left and right, and that should give you an easy way to do that. Likewise, we have the same thing for the landscape. Here's your bleed. You would just copy and paste this on top of your ad, and here's an example of that. So here's a landscape layout image, and I can have my bleed sitting here, or excuse me, my overlay to see exactly where to make sure my content stays within that green area. Again, 100 pixels on the top and bottom, 50 pixels left and right. So that's available for you and should make your life a lot easier. Coming down, again, these ads can contain video. So you have what's called a video player poster image, meaning do you want them to have something other than the standard play button to click on, maybe a screen grab or something to start the video? If so, you're going to upload that image here, and you're going to make that image whatever size your video player is going to be. You get to configure your video player down here in settings in terms of size. And then finally, your video is always 8 megabyte max, MP4 file, pop it in there. Colors. We have what's called a footer background color. You'll notice that when we preview this ad, if I stretch it out and go beyond in this case, the landscape 960 by 100, it'll just give me a filled-in background footer. So for very wide devices, usually you're not going to see the footer. Usually this footer is going to take up the whole width, but in the case that it doesn't, you can set the background color to be anything you like, usually making it something similar to the background of your footer so that it feels consistent. Next up, click-throughs. This basically has one click-through. The way it works is the footer, whether you tap or swipe on it, it's always going to go to the full screen, so the footer doesn't click through. But if you then tap anywhere on this image, it's going to take you either to the click-through URL that you put in here, or it's going to have the phone automatically pull up a dial for whatever number you put in here. To put in a phone number, you just enter TEL:// and the 10-digit number. And likewise, as always, for web URLs, if you want it to click through, just put HTTP: instead of TEL. Now for settings, you simply have your include video, yes or no. Let's say we want to include a video, yes. Let's make it 300, let's make it 250 pixels wide by 150 pixels tall. And then it's always going to center the video, and we'll give it a vertical offset, in this case 50 pixels. And then finally enable footer background, yes or no, and then position the attachment at the top or bottom. Let's put it at the top just to show you something different. Now when I save the ad, I will have the swipeable header now at the top instead of the bottom, and when I swipe it, I've got my video in here. If I tap it, the video is going to go ahead and play. Again, we always recommend testing this directly on a mobile device. To do that, you'll just copy and paste this URL into an email, and then open up your email from the smartphone, click on that URL, and you'll see it function and perform exactly like it should on your phone. So that's it for the design guide. As always, if you have questions, call us at 866-467-2289.